I'm going to encourage you to ramp up your spiritual prayer life. How many areas of your students' lives have you learned to pray for? I'm going to encourage you now to make a copy of this hedge. It's on my blog, and you'll find it under just the hedge, and it has 300 ways to pray for your students. That sounds exhausting, does it? I'm not asking you to do that all at once. Perhaps you want to take 1 or 2 a day, or maybe every Monday use the hedge to help you pray for your students. But there are a lot of different aspects in their lives. I've listed just these 5 here that we need to remember how to pray for them: social, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. And they have all sorts of needs. And this is simply a way that I use to remind me to pray for those that I have on my intercessory prayer list, my pastor, other people that I know, the students that I teach in different classes, and so forth. Realize that they have more than just salvation and spiritual growth. Things like learning how to memorize Scripture, about their salvation, learning how to memorize Scripture about how to witness to other people, and so forth. They have learning to deal with temptation and confession of sin and all sorts of areas of their lives where they need to grow. And we simply need to be, as teachers, need to be aware that we can pray for more than just good health. We can pray for opportunities to talk to caregivers, to doctors, to nurses, to the staff at our physician's office. Lots of ways. And so let me encourage you to learn how to pray for many areas of their lives outside the class: their relationship to their bosses and their relatives and their neighbors and their children and their aunts and their uncles and strangers that they meet and people that they do business with. Just last week I had a plumber come, but before he arrived, I had already made the decision I was going to hand him a tract, that little tract that I've mentioned before, Am I Going to Heaven? And explain salvation to him the best I could. And I prayed that he would be receptive, and he was very receptive. We had a good talk. Stood in my driveway for about 20 minutes afterwards. But how is your prayer life? How you doing there? Are you learning how to pray for your students more than just the generic, God bless my students, help them to fall more in love with you, which is a wonderful prayer and ought to be prayed often. But learn to pray for their specific needs the best you can learn how to do that.